3.16. 1,
It really infuriates me when people drive really close behind me.
2,
I get very frustrated when something goes wrong with my internet connection and I don't know how to fix it.
3,
It's so embarrassing when I can't remember someone's name, but they can remember mine.
4,
I used to love shopping in the sales, but now I find it exhausting. After an hour, I just want to go home.
5,
I'm often disappointed with my birthday presents. My expectations are obviously too high.
6,
It amazes me that some people still don't buy things like books and music online.
7,
I find speaking in public absolutely terrifying. I hate doing it.
8,
I've often been inspired by reading about how some successful people have overcome difficulties.
9,
I never find instructions for electronic devices helpful. In fact, usually they just confuse me.
10,
When I travel, I'm always thrilled if I manage to communicate something in a foreign language.
3.17.
The top 5 regrets were, in reverse order, number 5, having taken up smoking. Number 4, not having saved enough money. Number 3, not having done more exercise or eaten more healthily. Number 2, not keeping in touch with friends. And the number 1 regret was not having travelled more and seen more of the world.
3.19. 1,
I wish I hadn't eaten 2 pieces of cake.
2,
I wish I'd gone to university.
3,
I wish it wasn't my turn to cook tonight.
4,
I wish I knew where we were.
5,
I wish we didn't have to go to your parents' for dinner.
6,
I wish I'd bought those shoes I saw in the sales.
3.20. 1,
I wish I hadn't eaten 2 pieces of cake.
Well, it's not my fault. You've got no self-control.
2,
I wish I'd gone to university.
Well, it isn't too late. You're only 22.
3,
I wish it wasn't my turn to cook tonight.
Sorry, but it is, and I'm getting hungry.
4,
I wish I knew where we were.
Well, don't ask me. I've never been here before.
5,
I wish we didn't have to go to your parents' for dinner.
Do you want me to phone and make an excuse?
6,
I wish I'd bought those shoes I saw in the sales. Why don't you go back to the shop and see if they still have them?
3.21. 1,
The only thing I really regret is not having had the courage to chat up a girl who I met at a party last summer. I really fancied her. She was very attractive, but I just wasn't brave enough to start a conversation. I wish I'd tried. I'm absolutely positive we would have got on well. Now it's too late. She's engaged to another guy.
2,
Yeah, at the risk of sounding really negative, I think the one thing that I really regret in my life is getting married. And I wished I'd listened to my sister, who said to me in the car on the way to the registry office, someone has to say to you that you really don't have to do this, you know. And I really wish I'd listened to her, because it was the biggest mistake of my life. And in fact, the next day when I woke up, I realised it was a terrible mistake. And I spent the next 15 years trying to get out of it. And I would never do it again. So that's probably my biggest regret.
3.
I really wish I'd been able to know my grandmother better. She died when I was 12, and since then I've discovered that she must have been a really fascinating person. And there are so many things I would love to have been able to talk to her about. She was Polish, but she was in Russia, in St. Petersburg, during the Russian Revolution, and she knew all sorts of interesting people at the time. Painters, writers, people like that. I was only a child, so I never asked her much about her own life. Now, I'm discovering all about her through reading her old letters and papers, but I wish she'd lived longer so that I could have talked to her about those times face to face.
4.
When I was 15, I had a Saturday job in a supermarket, stacking shelves and that kind of thing. My friend also worked there, and he persuaded me one day to help him steal a carton of cigarettes, 200 cigarettes, from the stockroom. It was a crazy idea and totally out of character for me to do something like that. I'd always been very honest until then. Anyway, the manager of the shop found where we'd hidden the cigarettes, and he called the police. So when we came to work that evening, the police were waiting for us. Although we got off with just a warning, we were only kids, the police came to my house and talked to my mum. Oh, I felt so awful. But in the long run, it was probably a good thing because it meant that I never ever thought about stealing something again.
5.
When I was 16, I got the chance to change schools and go to a better school to do my last 2 years. My parents were really keen for me to change because they thought I'd probably get better marks in the university entrance exams and so have a better chance of going to university. But I was totally against the idea because I didn't want to leave all my friends behind and I didn't know anyone at the other school. So in the end, I managed to convince them and I stayed at my old school. I did okay in my exams, but not brilliantly. Now I regret not listening to my parents because I think it would have been better for my future career. But at the time, I just couldn't see it.